Thank you, Abraham. And thank you, Esther and Jerry. Recently, you used the phrase highest good. And
as determined by you through the life that you have lived.
Yes. And I had a question about that because sometimes it creates, or my question is basically, it sounds like a type of morality, like there's a lesser good.
We don't mean it that way. We meant furthest good, most expanded good, most amended good, most evolved good. We meant the far-reaching expansion that life has brought you to. We mean it's on the recorder. There is a meter that shows the sound waves. So when you speak into it, it moves out. And if you talk strong, it moves out into the decibels that are shown this way. And then if you talk more quietly, it moves back. But for a moment, it holds that loudest point so that Jerry can tell if he's got the meter set where he wants it to be. And in some sort of similar fashion, when you know what you don't want, you know what you do want, and you set that request, and the source within you becomes it and holds it. So that's what we mean. The source holds that most far-reaching place that you have found, and it's the new standard now that you are coming into alignment with. Once life has shown you that you want that, nothing less than that will ever be satisfying. That's what we meant. And it would be more accurate if we said you're eternally evolving or becoming higher and higher and higher and higher and higher and higher desire or good.
Okay, so is it possible? So it's not possible to desire something that is not part of or leading toward your highest good.
Well, we see what you're getting at. Because you are source energy before you come, you already have this well-being established. But the morality that you're talking about is an entirely different thing. Jerry and Esther have been talking about this a bit lately because they want to resonate with the source within them, but they have opinions that they've picked up along their physical trail about how people should behave. Esther saw an author being interviewed on the television the other night, and he was talking about how he's a reporter for the New York Times, and he was talking about how diplomats in Washington, D.C. are sort of rogues in terms of keeping rules and laws. They seem to think they're above it. And so a lot of them park in illegal places all the time, and they get endless parking tickets. And some of them pay them and some of them don't. And he's noticed that different parts of the world are more prone to more tickets. And they're also more prone to never paying their parking tickets, while other parts of the world don't park illegally. And if by chance they make a mistake, they pay their parking ticket right away. And so Jerry and Esther were commenting on how your environment is what has been teaching you. In your socialization, those around you are wanting to teach you what's right and wrong. And that's why the word highest good sort of felt like a little bit of a red flag to you, because you don't want to be bound. It's really a can of worms, isn't it? How people decide what's right and what's wrong. What government is good government, or is any government good government, or should mothers work, or should they stay home and take care of their children, or there are just endless opinions about what the right way of living is. But as you stand in your enormous diversity all around this planet, and you live with those who surround you, when you know what you don't want and you know what you do want, it's not just improvement in the material things that bring you comfort in life. You're really reaching for your furthest expanded beingness, you see. And it's that part. When you're rude to someone, you want to be nicer. When someone's rude to you, you want them to be nicer. It's those kinds of things that the source within you is expanding from beyond. Esther worried in the beginning, as we were talking about deliberate creation and we were talking about law of attraction. She worried that people would want things that were inappropriate for them to want. And it felt to her like somebody needed to decide what was right and wrong in the wanting of different things. And we want you to understand that when you look at it this way, if everyone, let's just for fun for a minute assume that everyone is an extension of source energy. That's an accurate assumption. And that 100% of you are here for joyous expansion. That is absolutely accurate. And that through life experience, your personal and individual desires will be born. Whether you are a one-celled organism or a full-blown genius human, your desires will emanate from you. And that source knows that no one could make a better decision about what is wanted for you than you. So when the desire emanates from you, not the spoken desire, the vibrational request. Now, you got to understand, we're going to a place that we have not been before. So when you feel negative emotion, what does it tell you? What does negative emotion always mean? Your thought is out of alignment with the way source thinks about the same thing. So far, so good? So when you feel negative emotion, it always means you're out of whack. And out of that negative emotion is born its opposite, which is what source knows to be. Did you just hear that? As you're sifting and sorting, when you know what you don't want, source knows what you do want. In other words, the larger part of you, the wise part of you, the part of you that is liquid love, the part of you that knows its worthiness, the part of you that feels no competition, the part of you that's in this for the long haul, the part of you that knows the wholeness, the part of you that loves all people on all nations, on all religions, the part of you that knows all of that, that's the part of you. So when you know what you don't want, source energy part of you knows what you do want, and together you set that new standard of highest good. And then your emotion lets you know how well you keep up with your newfound, expanded conclusion. That was a new place. Did you come with us? Did you feel it? In other words, for a long time we've been saying when you know what you don't want, you know what you do want. But why is that? Why is it that knowing what you don't want knows what you do want? Because you couldn't know what you don't want if you didn't know what you do want. If you weren't loved, then hate wouldn't feel off. And when hate feels off, love becomes more. If you weren't wellness incarnate, then sickness wouldn't feel off. But when sickness feels off, wellness becomes more. Are you getting this? In other words, you are extensions of such goodness. And that's a hard thing for humans to hear who have been beating the drum of unworthiness for such a long time. So many people, it is so crazy that they believe that they've been sent here to undo past wrongs, or that they're here to prove worthiness to someone who holds them apart from them. And everything about your day-to-day, real life, emotional experience, everything about your personal relationship with Source defies that, defies every part of it, doesn't it? When you find someone to love and you hold your attention upon them, you feel yourself filled with source energy, and you know no one can tell you that that's not love when you're full of it. You know. And when you deprive yourself of love by hating something or by pushing against something, no one can confuse you about what that means. You know that. You can feel that. Like the animal that doesn't need words to understand. An animal knows when he's about to be abused, and an animal knows when he's about to be loved, and he'll gravitate to the lover and he'll resist the abuser every single time. You don't need words for that. You are vibrational beings who instinctively gravitate toward your highest good. You do.
And